Hello, hey, I looked at the Bible for you, and I was looking at another book, and I'm the Intelligenta Metatron, trained in all aspects of learning. But that's because I used artificial intelligence to figure things out, search engines. That's how you become the Intelligenta Metatron. But I know that because this book tells me so. The sixth and seventh book of Moses, part of the Bible. Um, Yeah, these two books right here. I do the King James version because I think it's the words haven't been changed, but you still have to look them up to see what words they changed. But, anyways, this book is pretty good, and it starts out. They're going to teach you about astrology, the moon, and everything, and then you start doing that, and it's going to teach you about. Let's see. White and black magic. White's water, black is earth. Necromancy, talking to the dead, 72 dead gods in the Bible. All ministering angels, the spirits, and how it cites in desire. The ninth choir of the good angel, or angels and spirits, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, the moon. Yeah, the moon, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. The Earth was hit by a meteor, knocked a chunk of the moon off. The moon is tidally locked to the Earth, and the water gives the Earth form. So then we got Salathiel. It took Adam and Eve to the cave of treasures. You got Michael, Raphael, and Uriel. And this is necromancy, the black magic of the best ministering spirits. And you got Chymia, Chymia. That's chemical or element. Et, that's desire, earth god desire. I can explain that probably in another video or maybe this one. Alchemy, that's fusion. You're blending stuff together, you're fusing them together. Let's see, and Moses and Aaron, and that which was hidden from David, the father of Solomon, by the high priest. Yeah, so that's awesome. You see, most people read that and they have no idea what they read. Have you read Genesis? Chemical element? That's what's awesome. You see, I'm going to tell you the story. I think the snake told the Eve, and she knew who her God was. And this is talking chemical and element and stuff and whatever else. Well, you got Lucifer, Lux. Lux is luminescence, and Lucifer kills everything. UV light. So, you can check this out too. I prefer that you do because I'm telling you it's true. And if I'm wrong, let me know because I don't want to go around saying something that's wrong. All right. So, chemical or element, in the beginning, the creation. What created everything? Latin. And Hebrew. Hebrew is very important for understanding the Bible. But hydrogen, that's water generation. So we're talking the creation, water generation. This is what we're looking at. Boom, there's the Big Bang, and there's nothing but neutrons and protons, some dust, and the neutrons and the proton, one neutron, one proton, starts to come together. That's hydrogen. and the neutrons and protons are coming together, and the hydrogen's gathering in the mass, and it's in this dust, and this dust with the hydrogen causes a spark because the hydrogen didn't have the will to combine. It only says the spark. The only thing you can say is that's desire right there, and the hydrogen in that combines, but that dust and stuff that's making a UV glow, and that ultraviolet glow, that purple whatever ultraviolet glow, that kills everything. And when those two hydrogen atoms come together in that spark from the dust, that's the very first light in the universe, and that becomes a helium atom. And that helium atom starts to gather more hydrogen atoms, and that becomes the sun. And that makes every element on the periodic table, including the earth and the water. And when the two hydrogen atoms come together, there's a spark and a loss of mass. Well, that spark and that loss of mass, that's Adam's rib. And you got the very first light in the universe. And this is right when Adam takes a wife. And the snake is telling Eve this story. Lucifer Lux is the luminescent light that kills everything, which created the Son of God, our Son right here. That's the Son of God. That's my Father, the God of all living. You know? But, and she goes and tells Adam, and see, Adam, he's been in a deep sleep. He's been in his nation. He's named his animals, and he's created his nation, and he's helped out and everything, and he's done all this stuff. And he's got snakes in his garden. How did this happen? Okay? But they took over his judicial system. They took over the justice and everything else. And when the snake tells Eve the story and she tells Adam, they're like one of us, is what it says in the Bible. Well, who the hell is in charge of my nation? They took it over. Now you see how you get snakes in your garden? Now you see how you become a snake. Now you know who your God is. Is your God the same as mine, the Father of all living, the Son of God? You know, that kind of says that Lucifer's God. But that's what the understanding of Semia and alchemy, which is fusion, gives you the understanding of the first 5 books that Moses wrote of the Bible. So, but we did say hydrogeneration, right? You can't have a garden in the Garden of Eden without water. So, when Adam gets this understanding, he makes water in his mind. Water's the word. And like, you have the word, which is the word that builds your spirit and soul. The water, the moon pulls the waters around, the earth gives the earth form, does it to your soul. But the water is the word. And when it's the word of God to make your nation, and it's written down, that makes oil. All right, so you get the Constitution and stuff, that makes oil out of the word. And when it's about God, because God is Aleph in Hebrew, Aleph, it makes olive oil. But that's the word, Moses pulled from the water and stuff. But Adam, right here, he's making water in his mind. All right. And that's like the Immaculate Conception because he chose good over evil. And he's creating with the Word of God. He's become like God. But he's creating a spark in his mind, whatever. Because when the two hydrogen atoms come together to make the helium atom, there's a spark. The two hydrogen atoms come together to make with the breath of life. Because that's what we're talking about right here. With the breath of life, that makes water. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Two of the same things come together with oxygen, water. But right there, but that's the Immaculate Conception also. Because he become a creator just like God. And when the two hydrogen atoms come together with the breath of life, there's a spark. God seen his reflection in the water and thought it was him, created in God's image. But because he chose good over evil, and he made a spark in his mind and made water right there. And it's like, So that's hydrogeneration, is what we just discussed, using the elements, fusion, and what you call it. I'm the intelligent, the Metatron, okay? But yeah, there's so much that's told right there in that story, and you understand who the snake is. So you can be in your own nation, and they take it over in that, and then you're talking to a snake, which happens to be like you. You're a snake because that's not well, I'm not with them. He become like one of us. It's like, I just thought that was some good understanding. But yeah, and the reason I read this book, I don't know if I said that, but if I didn't, I'm going to tell you. In Deuteronomy, there's a book next to the Ark of the Covenant, basically, that I can't remember. I don't want to say the wrong name, but he was told to read it every day. Moses' Book of Laws. And that's the same little book that was opened in Revelations that somebody opened and understood. I understand this book. But it gives you some more understanding too. Like, let's see. Jesus, when he comes back, he'll be on a Mount of Olives. It's like, okay, we discussed what an olive is. Aleph is God in Hebrew. Olive, Aleph. But he'll be on a Mount of Olives. And what's a mountain? You take a whole bunch of rocks and stones and you make yourself a mountain. Okay? And we'll just say those are the churches. The churches are rocks and stones. And they pile them up. And all them rocks and stones have an understanding, which is the Ten Commandments, or they should have. Okay? So you got all these rocks and stones that are making a mountain. On the Word of God, which is an Aleph, okay, makes the oil that makes your nation. And now here's the good understanding of that. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream that a stone was pulled from the mountain, and that made God's kingdom. The only stone I know that was pulled from the mountain by God's hand was the Ten Commandments. That's the understanding you get from the Bible. Maybe not you, but that's what I get. You know, my little brother says, "Do you think you're smarter than me?" I had to think about it. It's like, damn, a dog's smarter than me, you know, or just as smart. I come home every day and I try to be happy just so I don't get kicked or thrown out or in the doghouse. You know, that dog, every time you come home, he's always happy, even if you're mad at him and you love them to death. And when they die,